Welcome to episode 9 of That's What I'm Saying, the podcast about hip hop, entertainment, dating, sex, relationships, and social issues from a sometimes ratchet but mostly woke perspective. So you can subscribe to That's What I'm Saying, the podcast. We're in iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, Spreaker, and Stitcher, as well as iHeartRadio. So I'm Shaun.
I'm Ny, and this goes out to all the baby mamas, baby mamas. Happy Mother's Day, y'all!
Yes, thank you. Okay, so I guess what are we gonna call this episode? We do this every time. I don't have a name.
Me either.
Okay, we'll get to it. All right. So I'm happy to say that we will not be talking about blank. This is a blank free episode, so we will not be talking about him or any of his ratchetness. So moving forward, we got some other ratchet we want to talk about. Who's that we want to talk about now?
Man, we got to get into Azealia Banks. Lord, she was on the Breakfast Club this week or last week, and DJ Envy brought up some comments that she'd made about Cardi B. She said she called her an untalented rat. And she also said that Cardi B is a caricature of a black woman, and that her loud and boisterous behavior gets a pass because she's light skinned.
Now this is the same chick that wore panties and a bomber jacket,
girl,
to the award show, right?
And she had her ashy ass cheeks out. I'm like, did they not have lotion anywhere?
Pretty much. So ashy. You know, and truth be told, until all of this came out, I really didn't hear. I've heard more about her antics. You know, whether it was, what's the white dude who I think she might have been dating, the Gladiator dude, the actor. I can't think of his name. Gained a lot of weight.
Anyway. The dude from Australia?
Yes.
Okay, I can't think of his name, but I know you're talking about.
God damn it, we're old. Why can't we think of his name?
I don't know.
White guy. But, I guess she has something going on with him. She, I think a part of her act is to cause the controversy. So I never listened to any of her music until this past weekend. And I'm going to say it's not that bad. I don't know where she's from. Is she from New York? But she's
from Harlem.
Exactly. So I definitely got that flavor about, you could hear it in the music. I mean, it's not half that bad. For whatever reason, her career has not taken off, but for her antics, outside of the music, you're always hearing something, she's an agitator. And I don't know if that's an act or if that's really her, if that's the bipolar, because I'm quick to look at this like there's some kind of mental thing going on with her.
Yeah, you know what? I've listened to. I actually like her music though. I've listened to like her last CD she had, and she has a very eclectic sound. It's like she has hip hop, she has like house music. I like it. And then she was in that movie with RZA called Beats, Life and Rhymes or something. I saw it on Netflix.
I saw it advertised on Netflix, and I wanted to watch it. So was it good?
Yeah, and I watched it twice. I like her. I mean, it's like something about her that I do like. She's a decent actress. It was a decent movie. There was some controversy around it because that was produced by RZA, and I think the guy that we were talking about was Russell Crowe. He was the Gladiator, right?
Exactly.
Right. Gladiator. So there was an incident where the RZA took her to Russell Crowe's house, and whatever happened, Russell Crowe spit on her, and then from that it caused like dissension between her and RZA. So, and that was around the time that the movie was being released, so they didn't have a proper release. It kind of bombed at the in the box office, and then in the movie, Common was in the movie. What's the chick from Philly? The singing chick from Philly.
Heavy set.
Yeah.
With the stank attitude.
Yeah. Jill Scott. So so it's all these musical people that are involved in this movie, but there's no soundtrack. So so that whole controversy with them just kind of tanked the movie. But it always seems like there is something, always a story following her. Like she's always agitating something and just so. But anyway, so with this situation with Cardi B, it's like I kind of can understand where she's coming from. However, it's like you can't fault Cardi B for what the industry is.
Right.
You know, you can't fault her for that. And it's to me, it's just, can she just focus on her music
But
versus
she
always trying
can't.
to,
She can't. And that's
you
the.
know,
I mean, it sounds like she's a little. She's out of there. And and I read her response. Meaning, I read Azealia Banks's response to Cardi B. And I mean, it was actually very thoughtful to me and very very well put. In
mhm,
terms of one sister to another, but
mhm.
coming from the wrong person. I don't think Azalea Banks is in a position to say half of what she said. Did you read it?
I
It
read
was.
I read it, and I kind of I understood what she was saying because um it sparked several conversations about colorism, who's defined as black, because I read on certain different platforms where they were like, Cardi B is not black, and other people were like, well, why isn't she black? Because I think people have this thing when you say black, in their mind they just think it's black Americans or
You gotta
African
say black,
Americans,
right?
but you
But
know
Cardi B's never denied her blackness.
she hasn't denied her blackness, and I think people, I don't know if people just don't really understand how the African diaspora
I
works,
think that's what it is.
and I think people just kind of get stuck on this whole black thing, meaning thinking it's just black Americans, but they're black Hispanics,
Yeah.
there's a lot of black Hispanics, so it sparked a lot of conversations about that, but it also, on one end, I kind of agreed with Azealia Banks, but on another token, it sounded very closely to respectability politics, where she's like,
What do you
where
mean?
what she's saying is black women should be this way, X, Y, and Z, and if someone acts the way Cardi B acts, then they don't deserve the spotlight or the success, or this is not how a black woman should act. And so that part I just don't agree with, because we're not a monolith, we're not monolithic. We
Right.
Black women are we come in all different shades, social backgrounds, economic backgrounds. We're flavorful, and you just can't pigeonhole
Hmm.
us.
Yeah, especially Azalea. Like, what are you talking about with your butt cheeks on the
Girl,
runway on the red
and
carpet? What's
the
going on?
funny thing is that she's policing how Cardi B is her personality, and then later in this conversation she has this story about how she was in a bar in New York, and she gets pissy drunk. She brings this white dude to her to her hotel room, and she's dancing around naked, and she claims that he drugged her. I'm like, she's just all over the place. I really think she needs some sort of therapy.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
really
That's what
do.
it comes down to. Well, what do you think about Cardi B deleting her Instagram in response to the verbal throws back and forth between her and Azalea Banks?
I think it was a smart move because,
Yeah.
she's in her third trimester of pregnancy. She doesn't need to focus on this energy that Azealia is throwing her way. This is an important time in her pregnancy. She doesn't need any stress, and I think she said her piece, and she just needs to kind of pull back. Not every fight deserves energy. You know,
That's okay. Well, that's a good I didn't think of it that way, in terms of she's pregnant and, the energy that's coming from it. At first, I thought it was a kind of like a cowardly move, like don't let anybody steal your joy and get
hmm
you to close your account down because of some words. But
yeah, I agree with that too. But at the end of the day, who the fuck is Azealia Banks? You know what I'm saying? And her health is most important. I'm not saying that's the reason why she shut it down, but if that's part of the reason, then I agree with it.
okay, yeah, okay, well, moving on. But Azalea, well, you said you listened to her music. I mean, I actually like. I think if she would focus more on her music career, she'd
hmm
actually be in a much better position.
I think
Because
so too.
you could definitely tell there's a little drop of talent there. But anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
So let's see. I read something that caught my eye. So according to Young Thug, uh, did you hear? I don't know if you heard this,
No,
but he and Future got each other's names tattooed on them.
I did. I thought that was very sweet and sentimental for this couple. Are they a couple?
They booed up, I guess. I don't
Maybe is
know.
that
He
what this
said,
is? Are they coming
wait.
out?
So the quote, and this is okay. So I have to speak. So the quote he says, "Man, me and this nigga got each other's names tatted on us. That's how I feel. It's forever."
Where is the tat? Are the tats on their butt? Where's the tats? Where's the
Girl,
tat?
it might as well be on their neck. I don't know. It's on their cheek. Um,
Kiss your name on my neck.
I, I mean, I don't know if this is like a joke, and considering all of the Young Thug. I mean, he's has a passion for dresses and
Hmm.
skirts and um the like and bows and all that stuff. So I don't know. That just threw me for a loop because I thought Future. I mean, I don't know what. Okay, all jokes
So
aside.
does this mean that him and Baby broke up? No, it's a question. I'm serious. I'm asking a question.
I mean, I don't know. I guess we had a love triangle on our hands. I don't know. I'm just I'm taken aback by this. Like, who does this? Like, who are these new dudes out here? Who are these people? What
these
where
these
is
are
this?
new niggas right here.
Take them back to the store then, please. God
Right.
damn it. I hope you got your receipt. I'm so sick of this. Like, this is for real, y'all.
Girl.
Did y'all go together and put your name? I wouldn't even put the name of my significant other on my body. I just
Poor
mm.
Sierra. That's your baby daddy. Poor Sierra.
But she don't care either way. Her and Russell
Yeah.
running up and down the field. So yeah, I just thought that was interesting. So I guess they're I don't know, what do you call that when you
Just
see a tattoo?
solidifying their bond.
Mm,
So
kind
I
of.
guess I don't know. They have to explain this because I can't explain it.
Well, he said it. He's like, that's how we feel.
But how? What does that mean? How you like feel like a friendship feel or
He said it's forever.
okay?
Would you tattoo my name on you?
Shantae, you know I love you like my sister. However, no, I don't even have my mama's name tattooed on me.
That's what I'm saying. I would never put my child's name on me. I just no.
I'm
So
not big on tattoos. I like some tattoos, but
mm.
they're just not my thing.
I'm tatted up, but that was from
Are you?
an
Yeah,
early.
you have tattoos.
I
Yeah,
have like 5 tattoos, but
yeah.
this is when I thought it was cute, and that was the way to go. Now, if I could, I probably would remove most of them.
Mhm.
Um, I there's a I had a funny story about a tattoo, but anyway, I have to tell it another time. Anyway, yeah, so they're booed up, and I wish them the best.
Yeah,
You gotta,
congratulations.
look at God. Um, moving on. So Spotify has canceled R. Kelly.
About time.
Okay, so the Mute Kelly movement has been a force to be reckoned with. So they've canceled.
Hmm.
So you're for it. I've heard he's been taking off a couple of some news stations, music radio stations as well.
Yeah, Tom Joyner is taking him off, which I'm like, Tom Joyner, you've been playing this dude for 20 years. Now you're about to retire and you want to take him off your playlist. Come on, Tom Joyner. You had 20 years to do that. Now your old ass is retiring. But I'm for it. I'm for it. You know how I feel about R. Kelly. He disgusts
Yeah.
me.
You,
He disgusts me.
I had a friend that was playing. We had a real good conversation because he was playing the music over the weekend, some of R. Kelly's songs, and I'm like, it's hurtful because you're listening to this man,
Hmm.
and it's still like there's a memory for the music. I love the music, but I can't stand it. And it was like turn like my flesh was, as my grandmother said, my flesh crossed. Like, it just turned my stomach just
Hmm.
hearing his voice. And
Hmm.
I think that's what's happening now. Like, I can't even deal with it. Whether they are allegations, and I mean, it's so many and it's so much. And this man has gotten away with this for so many years that
Hmm.
I can't. I'm not on board anymore. So, big ups to Spotify
Yeah.
for moving forward now.
And he has a concert in I think North Carolina. He had one this weekend, I believe.
Oh, I wonder how that was.
I don't know. I was still going to see this man. I just don't get it. But anyway.
I don't know. Okay. And then Emily B and Fab are back together. Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well,
Let
you
me
know,
not laugh. Let me not laugh. This is. I think
this is
what we are
serious.
seeing is, it's the cycle of abuse.
Yeah.
And you could say what you want to say. I heard he had his first. He probably got arraigned. His first court appearance, I guess, last week, and she was there in support of him. And, I'm willing to bet money. I think what we're going to see in this, and this is the legal side, is they're probably going to get married if they haven't eloped or
I
or
think they're married.
anyway. Okay,
They're married.
because then she's allowed to assert the marital privilege, and she won't have to testify against him in court. She won't be compelled to testify if they're married, because you can't force a spouse to testify against the other spouse. So that's
Hmm.
probably what's going to happen. But I also think what throws the monkey wrench in this case, if that is the route that she or they decide to go, is that they had witnesses there. And
Hmm.
if those witnesses are subpoenaed to come to court, plus they got the videotape, um, that's another issue. So even if she did not testify, and a lot of times in these abuse cases, if you don't have a witness, it's usually a he said, she said. And if
Hmm.
one doesn't come forward, well, there's no, if the victim doesn't come forward, there's no case because there's no witness. And then this one is a little different.
Well, are there some jurisdictions where even if the person drops the charges, the state or the city or
Yeah.
whoever still goes after them,
Yeah, I
right?
mean it's in most of them,
Okay.
especially it's most cases, even if the victim drops, it's a criminal case. It's not,
Hmm.
sometimes they have like the domestic violence, the separate, moving forward on the like a protective order. But then, there's also the criminal assault case, that
Hmm.
has whether she wants to cooperate or not, they're gonna go, the prosecutor's gonna pick up the case, they're gonna go forward.
Hmm.
So I think like I said, if they're not, you said they're married. If they're
Yeah,
married,
they are
then
married. Hmm.
that was to make sure that she would not be a defense witness, or she couldn't be
Hmm.
compelled to be a defense witness. But like I said, I mean, I saw the video, you saw the video.
Hmm.
They really don't need her as a witness. There were
Hmm.
other people around, so I don't know. I don't know, Fab. I don't know, Emily. I was a bit disappointed when I heard it. I mean, and I've been through that, so I know until you're good and ready,
Yeah.
no one can tell you how,
Hmm.
what's going to happen and how you're going to move forward in that relationship till you're good and ready to leave.
Yep.
With a clear exit strategy,
Hmm.
you're going to stay exactly where you are. So,
Hmm.
good luck to both of them.
Yeah, and good luck to both of them. And I hope what comes out of this is that Fabulous gets some sort of therapy treatment to deal with whatever issues he has. And Emily, I just pray for your safety.
Right. I mean, it's some clear anger issues there. And I think that's what came across on that video, watching him out there with her family there. And I'm just I thought about I guess that was her mother, I mean her father and her brothers that were
Hmm.
there.
Hmm.
And how helpless do they feel? Because you have this man who is attacking your sister or your daughter. How
Hmm.
helpless are you when she turns around and gets back with the dude?
Yeah, it's. I got a funny story. I don't even want to tell it because. But like you said, when it's when you're in a situation where you have family members who are involved in situations like this and you want to help them and you want the best for them, but it's like you kind of gotta be like, this is your fight because you don't want to get all vested into it, and then the
Mhm.
person turns around and goes right back to the abuser,
Right.
you know
Right.
so it's I just wish the best for the both of them. I want him to get help, I want her to stay safe, you
Right.
know yeah.
Yep, wishing best. Okay, moving forward. So you had,
Mhm.
where are we at? We're ratchet sometimes, a little bit ratchet, a little bit woke. Where are we at now?
So, I really want to touch on really quickly about Cynthia Nixon. If you
Yes.
guys remember her, she was part of the Sex and the City franchise. Now she's in another phase in her career. She came out maybe, I don't know, some years ago as a
Years ago.
lesbian. Yeah, she got married to her wife. They have a family. So now in this current phase, she's putting her bid to in the governor race for New York. And one of her platforms is reparations for Black folks in the form of creating a legalized pot industry in New York,
Mm.
specifically for African Americans.
Mm.
Um, so a lot of civil rights leaders, including Mr. The Reverend Al Sharpton,
Mm.
are up in arms about this. He's saying, we don't need we need healthcare, we need education. We have another political person, Keith Wright. He's a longtime state assemblyman from Harlem, and he says that Nixon's comment is ill-informed and lacks understanding about the greatest crime in history. So, um, uh,
Um,
I'm kind of I've never, not once, have heard of anyone in politics bring up reparations, a white person bringing up reparations.
right.
Especially as a platform for them, running for office. But it's never been a real thing, and from what I could see and what I've read, and so I kind of applaud her for that because no
Mm-hmm.
one's bringing up this topic, and to be honest, I'm not totally opposed to it because
Right.
um, that industry is booming. It's booming
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of money involved. And if there is a specialized program for Black people to get their license, because that process of getting your
Mm-hmm.
license is very intense.
Right.
It's not something that happens overnight. It's a long process, even for white boys. You
Mm-hmm.
know, um, so I'm not saying I'm 100% for it, but I'm definitely willing to listen. You
Oh,
know.
absolutely. I mean, I agree with you 100%. Now, I just found it funny, all of our, so, quote unquote supposed leaders jumping up and saying, we need so much other stuff like this, not reparations, but like, let's keep it real,
Hmm.
who that it's such a booming industry and it's about to take off. And
Hmm.
what people are more oppressed by the criminal justice system because of marijuana related infractions and all this other
Hmm.
stuff. So we talking about the business side of it. If we have
Right.
some sort of end to that, and you
Hmm.
have this, and it's how ironic is it that there's this white gay
Hmm.
celebrity, who was on Sex and the City for what, 20, almost 20 years,
Hmm.
is actually coming forward and push. She's the one who said it. Like it's a form of reparations. It is,
Yeah.
to get. So I do, I applaud her
Me
for
too.
even coming up. And it's a small thing, but
Hmm.
can you imagine the effects of it and the money, that and
Man.
how financially successful our communities, people in our community can become because of this. So I mean,
Hmm.
I'm on board. I think it's a great idea. You can say what you want about it,
Hmm.
that
I'm on board too. I want to hear more about it because
hmm
if in the traditional sense of getting reparations, they're not going to just hand out money to us. You know,
right.
um, I'm open to it. So come on, Cynthia, come on.
Yep. Good. Good. Yeah. Give her a hand. So
Yeah.
okay. All right. So I did want to. I mean, I think it's worth mentioning. Although, like I said, it's like every week we have something. It's along the same line. So last weekend, a young Black male in North Carolina was taking his sister to the prom, or maybe meeting her after the prom, or something like that. So they went to the Waffle House afterwards, and the police were called on the young man because there was some sort of argument with the staff. And so there's a video of a cop choking the young man and slamming him to the ground. And it was posted, of course, online, and it went viral. Have you seen the video?
Yeah, I watched the video. Hmm.
Yeah, I watched the video. So supposedly the young man, he took full responsibility for whatever argument happened inside the Waffle House, but he says that the officer's actions were, of course, unjustified, and now the police are investigating the incident. So what do you think about that?
Oh, it's excessive force. I look
Mhm.
at this video and this is like a kid. This is a
Yeah.
kid in a kid's body. He's probably 150 pounds, maybe soaking wet 160 pounds, and this is a big cop that's on him. All that force wasn't necessary.
Right.
It just wasn't necessary. I don't know why they were called. I don't know what happened that led up to that, but that force wasn't necessary at all.
No, yeah, I mean it's do you think it's some sort of racial profiling or other than the use of excessive force? Now, what do you think about that? Being it's a white cop and
That's
a
always going to
black
be my
kid.
initially. That's always probably going to be on my mind when it's that type of scenario where it's a white cop and a black person, because that's kind of what it always seems to be. It's some sort of racial profiling. You know, the cops are being called on black people for barbecuing. The cops are called for college students sleeping in a common area. You
Just heard
know,
that.
they're called oh, there and I don't want to be funny, but there's this picture floating around of this woman looking at a poster of what's that show on Netflix? What's the name of that show on Netflix
I don't know.
for white people?
Oh, dear white people?
Yeah, they're white people, and she's like has her hands on her hips, and she's looking at this poster, and somebody wrote a caption. She's trying to figure out a way to call the cops on this poster.
Yeah, I did see on social media there were it was some funny memes that popped up, on the frivolous occasions when white people call the cops on black
Uh,
people.
Another one I just saw was there's a picture of the march on Washington, and that lady, and then there's a page they inserted, they photoshopped the picture that white lady who called the cops on the people for barbecuing, trying to call the cops.
Because they be some cop calling people, man.
Man,
Good
oh
Lord,
my
just pick up the
gosh,
phone. Just that gave me some laughs though. Just looking at the some memes that were coming up on that. Like white people they will call some cops on you.
they are quick
Hmm.
for it, quick with it.
So yeah, that was one. And then I did want to, for the woke minute, just kind of touch on the outcome of the Pentagon research, what they did. So they basically did this long investigation about the ambush. I don't know if you heard about this, but there was a counter something fight that happened in Niger. This was probably like maybe 8 or 9 months ago. So the Pentagon did investigation because we actually lost. They said that it was 4 American soldiers. I actually think there was more than that. So the question was, what were we doing over there in Niger? There was some sort of special operations going on. And what they're saying is that, they have found that there are these ISIS cells that were grouped in Niger, which is the
Hmm.
country in Africa, and that we, counterterrorism. This is America's way of fighting terrorism. But there's been so many conflicting reports as to what actually happened because it seems like there was this huge fight and gunfight, and there were a lot of lives lost. And the Pentagon has been trying to come up with, I think, a way to explain to the American people, like, why are we even over there? Why do we have troops that we send over there? They're saying it's to fight terrorism. But I have my own thoughts on it. Is a little different than that. If you know about the area or this region in West Africa, that it is basically it's a cornucopia of minerals and natural resources. There's oil there, there's gold, there's natural gases. I think there's uranium there. So we've had U.S. military occupation there for a very, very long time. We actually have bases set up there. And, I think to the American people, what we're told is it is because of our fight against terrorism and, to stop these terrorist cells from forming and in fruition. But I think it's more about, mining those natural resources
Hmm.
or protecting them. It seems like whenever we have these coups that are happening against the government. So whenever the Pentagon is going in, and whenever we have our troops set up, then there's some sort of I think we control the governments over there.
Hmm.
So I think there's always a backstory, especially when you have to wait. I think we waited like 8 or 9 months for the Pentagon to come forward with an official report as to what the hell happened over there and why do
Mhm.
we have troops over there. And what has been the outcome of this investigation, and it's just not very really clear. But like I said, there's always a backstory. When you go to these countries that have these resources, and then we say we're setting up there in the name of fighting terrorism. So I just wanted to mention that, because I think it's this is what we do. And I hate saying we, but this is what we do.
Mhm.
um if there's anything that if we're talking about finance or capital, that's where we are.
Mhm.
Whether it's going and plummeting and ravaging a country, we'll do it in the name of finances, in the name of money, we'll do it.
Yeah, yeah, and it's always that's always the underlining reason. We always say we're doing it for democracy or we're doing it for the good of the people or whatever, but it's always about the money. There's always a bottom line, uh, and it always leads
Hmm.
back to money.
Yep. And I think those are the interests that we're following. It's not about, keeping the country safe. And I think that's what this report has kind of, put in so many words. But it's like, get out of here. Y'all know you're over there, and you know what that country has. So
Hmm.
you can't tell me that, you found ISIS over there, or did you find oil?
Right. Which one was it?
Let's be for real. So yeah, and this is probably going to be like, I just want to kind of touch on it as we go along and we talk about it, because I think it affects us.
Hmm.
So, all right, moving forward, I think, have we come to the dick minute? Have we come to the weekend dick report? I'm ready.
We have. I'm
She
ready to talk about
ready.
some
She
dick.
ready.
So this question actually comes from one of our male listeners.
Hey.
And hold on, let me get my notes right. Hold on, I just had it. Hold on. Okay.
Hmm.
So it comes from one of our male listeners, and this is the question that he has. I've been involved with my lady for a while, and sex is always good. And she says it's good for her too. But recently we were having discussion about sex and what we like, and she recently told me that she doesn't always have an orgasm from sex, but she insists that she is satisfied. So is that possible? Is she being honest?
She lying, yo. No, I'm
Can women be sexually satisfied without having an orgasm? So that's the question
Oh.
that he wants. Like, I guess he's concerned that, because for men, for the most part, they always orgasm. They always.
Yeah, I don't think they fake it. I don't think so. Okay, so his question is, if she's lying on enjoying sex without having an orgasm.
Yeah, I guess that's his question because he's concerned that he's not pleasing her and she's not really being honest that she's being satisfied. So he wants to know, is it possible to have an
Can you
enjoyable
do
sex
without?
life, yeah, without having an orgasm?
Oh, okay.
So.
Well, all right. So in my opinion, I think the simple answer is yes. I think for maybe it's different for women, and and I can only really speak about me and the women that I've heard from, but you don't necessarily have to have an orgasm every sexual encounter. Would be great, and I think it would be nice.
Mhm.
But does it always get there? I mean, I don't think you necessarily need to have one every single time. It would be great, but I think there's something with the intimacy of sex that it's not the same. It's not the same as an orgasm, but
Mhm.
it's an enjoyable feeling. And so it's like a 5 on a scale of 1 to 10
So
without it.
okay, it's a 5 on a 1 to 10. So that's
Yeah. I mean, it's
that's
like
like that's
midway. Like,
50,
it's still
that's 50%.
enjoyable.
That's a fail. That's 50%.
Well, okay, maybe let's say 7. Let's say 7. All
7.
right, like a
Okay.
7, 7.5. I mean, okay, so I think for me, like, you don't have to have one every single time, but
Mhm.
every other time, every other
Every
time
other
there needs
time.
to be an orgasm in there somewhere. Just Just
So
to keep the numbers right.
we're back at 50% now.
Oh, really? Look, you answer the question. I'm just talking about where I'm coming from. Baby, you know better.
Well,
Because I
okay.
know you're the connoisseur, right? So let's.
Okay. So let me fix my clothes. Um, so okay. I can only speak for myself, but I'd like to have an orgasm. And if I don't, I'm kind of annoyed, you know. And it's- and it doesn't happen all the time. Um, but I like for it to happen at least 80% of the time,
Okay.
you know,
Wow.
like
Yeah.
80% of the time. And I think I just but that's not to say I it's not to say that I haven't had sex that was enjoyable where I didn't have an orgasm. So it is possible that she is telling the truth. Um,
Yeah.
and it's good that you guys are having these conversations about sex and being open and honest about what you want. So if that's the case where she's not always having an orgasm, then the conversation can be, what can I do to make you reach that point? So
Hmm.
I think these conversations are good. Um, and it's possible that she is enjoying having sex with you because it's also about the intimacy of it and how she feels about you. And it sounds like maybe she has deep feelings. I'm assuming that she has feelings for you. So and that also makes sex good when you're with someone that you care about and that you want to be with. Um, so I think you guys are at a good point. Just continue the conversation, and she could be being honest with you about it. But
Yeah, that's what I think for women it's different. Like you don't. It would be great to have one all the time, but you don't necessarily. You could still enjoy the act, and you could still enjoy the intimacy.
hmm
Um, so I do think she's telling the truth. Now, can that happen forever? I don't think so.
forever.
Ever, ever.
No.
No, no. It makes me think of I was dating this guy, and I told you this, and he didn't like giving head,
hmm
and I mean, it was like sex was like no orgasm. It wasn't bad, but it was just
hmm
like, and of what I found myself like after a while, I was so turned off by him,
hmm
and he was fun and great in every other direction. He was a great guy, but that right there, because you
hmm
refuse, so you're not getting me to orgasm,
hmm
with penetration, and then on
hmm
top of that, you're not giving head. You don't want to give
Yeah.
head.
What's the
Oh man,
point?
I was mean to him like that. Just was like, ugh,
hmm
I couldn't do it.
So, but let me say something else, and I need to get your input on this because it's
Hmm.
kind of I can't I can't really make sense of it in my head. So, my ex, we've been together for over a decade, and with him, he was very attentive sexually. So
You had put the disclaimer out there, girl. You single, ready to mingle. Go ahead.
yeah, single ready to mingle.
Mhm.
So, I not all the time I climax with him, but
Mhm.
I would say maybe 85, 90% of the time I climax. However, I wasn't all the way sexually attracted to him, if that makes sense.
Mm.
But we had a pretty good sex life, which is interesting. Fast forward to should I say fast forward to in the future or in the
Mhm.
past that
Mhm.
I'm trying to
That's that
I'm
time.
trying to
Mhm. Go
I'm
ahead.
trying to stay in a safe zone. So and then I became intimate with someone who I was highly sexually attracted to.
Mhm.
More like I've never been this attracted to someone sexually. I
Mhm.
haven't had an orgasm. However, it's probably one of the best sexual experiences I've
Very
had.
weird. Okay, I mean
It's
that's.
weird, and maybe it's because I don't know. I can't even really wrap my head around it of why it's working out this way.
Well, that's interesting because
And I'm kind of almost scared to have an orgasm because I think I just might lose my mind.
keep it all the way real.
Right? I'm kind of like nervous because I'm like if
Like that's
I'm
it. Like what you could.
I don't know.
Pack your bags. I might not ever see you again.
Right. I ain't never let that nigga go.
What?
So it's kind of, I don't know. It's just, it's weird. So, I don't know. Can you make
I don't
me understand what's going on?
that you are sexually attracted. Well, you're very highly attracted to someone who has not made you orgasm.
Right. But the sex is great.
Okay, and
But
this is what, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying the same thing that you can enjoy. This is just like the young man whose girlfriend is saying she doesn't orgasm, but it is great. It can be, especially if all the other pieces are put together. So, just you're with someone, and like I said, and you're vibing with that person. They're making you laugh. You're having a good time. It's great conversation. You are attracted to them physically. All of that is in place. Then to me, yes, you want to have an orgasm when you have sex, but it's like not the end all be all because everything else is kind of in symmetry. And
hmm
it's kind of like what how you're saying it, that all these other pieces are falling in place. If you get that last infinity stone, we might never this world.
I'm scared. I'm scared.
What,
Oh,
man? Earth may be no more. You might blow this shit up. Then that's real. Like it's so like
it's like
girl,
winning a Mario game.
what?
I won.
Like, what? Girl, you get that last infinity stone? Who got that stone? Mm-mm. They don't even need to come together like Voltron. You don't even need that in your life.
I just feel it's just interesting to me that I was with someone who I always climax with for the most part, but I wasn't
But you won.
wasn't that
Hmm.
sexually attracted to him, but somebody who I am super attracted to, and I have it. It's just weird, but
Yeah, I know, but I think it's a testament to what I said. I said the same thing. It's if you everything else is in place, then not that you don't need it, but it's just like because and on the other end is like nigga, if I'm not attracted to you like that, then you better have some bomb ass something. Like you better make my eyes roll back up to my brain. Something, something. I mean, it's you got to make up for it somewhere. So yeah, I think that's completely and totally natural, and I think that is just it just shows the kind of creatures that we are. You know how we're living, breathing, sentient, sexual human beings.
hmm
So this is how we operate in different ways. So yeah, attractiveness is a motherfucker. It really
yeah.
is. Because
hmm
once it hits you in a certain place, it's like I'm just like I've lost control of my bodily functions. I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm saying right now.
Man, oh gosh. Oh my gosh.
I'm telling you,
Lord.
like, man, there was I it makes it whenever we start this dick weekend dick minute, and I'm listening to myself, and I'm like, God damn, she's got so many different stories. Like, who is you? Oh, she's a whore.
She's a whore. A whore. That does sound like so more hurtful. Like
Oh man,
you say
that's
she's a hoe. Okay, she's a hoe, but
right.
no,
What a
she's a
whore.
whore.
Would you throw coughing up phlegm?
No.
Whore.
Whore.
Ah, but wait, I was just thinking there. I was dating this guy who I swear it was just like the best orgasm I've ever had in my life ever, and it the best. And I would drive anywhere for that. Like I would get in my car at 1:30 a.m. in the morning, knowing I had to be to class the next day, and I would drive 200 miles
Oh,
to go and see
wow.
him. Just sneak in the morning and girl get back out and try to make the morning traffic back
Wow.
to school. That's how crazy. But I'm like, you know what I'm saying? When you lose your
hmm
your, your a little sense of self a little bit, when you
That's why I'm scared. I'm like I'm too old to be doing this shit. I'm too old to losing my mind over some dick. But Lord have
man,
mercy.
when you have to step outside yourself and give yourself advice, like now, come on, girl, you shouldn't be doing that. Go for this nigga.
What your mama
Woo!
say?
For real. You have back and give yourself some advice. Now, come on, girl. Mm-mm. You can't be doing that, girl. I would. Oh man, I would burn up the road. You know, 'cause
Mm-hmm.
just like okay, in the middle of the night, like because it was just that good, girl.
Mm-hmm.
Scheming and doing all kind of trying to get myself. Oh Lord. So I know. But it was just that good. Like it was just that good. So
Mm-hmm.
okay, did we give some good advice or we just
I kind of like we talk in circles a little bit. I think we answered the question. I hope, sir.
I hope we did. But I want him to know that what she said, I do believe that she was being honest with him and
Yeah.
I'm sure if because they're in a relationship that is so much more to him that he shouldn't worry about whether she's having an orgasm every sexual encounter.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
Yeah.
look,
But work. But
you got work. You got
you
work to
got
do
to
though.
work. You sure do. You
You
have
got some
work to
room to
do.
practice.
Yeah.
It's all good. And ask her what she likes.
Yeah.
This
And
what'll get her
I
there.
like being able to be open with my partner about what I want and what he wants so that we can be the best sex partners
Yep.
for each of you, for each other.
You get all them infinity stones together. Like we gonna make a bracelet out of
What
that shit.
movies is this from? I have to watch
Oh
these
my
movies
God!
for
If
you
you
to
don't
stop.
stop with
What is this?
Avengers, girl, you didn't see Avengers?
Oh girl, I'm not gonna watch that. I'm gonna fall asleep.
No,
I hate
you gotta
what?
see it. It has like, some great meetings. Just please, just get on board, please.
Oh.
I'm such a Marvels fan. I'm such a fan of the whole franchise. I've seen all 27, 22
Oh
movies.
really?
Yes, it's serious. So the
Oh.
Infinities, you got to get all five Infinity Stones so that you can rule the universe. So anyway, all right. So we have come to the section of the show called I Reminisce.
Oh wait a minute. Are we gonna do
Yes.
the business, the black business
Yeah, we'll
first?
do it then. Yeah, we'll do it then when we shout out.
Oh,
We do shout
okay.
out. Yeah. So for right now, we are
Let me get back in
taking
my
every
place.
back, please. Look, I'm the one that keeps written notes over here. Okay. All right.
Okay, my bad.
Okay. Okay. So for this one, we are going back to 1996. Woo! Where
Wow.
Lil Kim Hardcore came out
Girl.
and Big Momma Thang,
Man.
produced by Stretch Armstrong. You remember that was the hit she had with Lil C's singing the hook, and then Jay-Z was on it. And I want to say that was like right around the time of Reasonable Doubt. He was like brand new.
Yep.
On
He
the
was.
scene.
Mhm.
And I just remember, I think was I in high school? I was in college.
No, this was my second semester freshman year. I
Yeah,
remember.
so that's right. So this was college time, and I just remember this was the first time I heard.
Oh man, hold on. It wasn't my freshman year, it's my sophomore year. Sorry. Had to be clear. But go ahead. Sorry.
This was the first. It was college. This was the first time that I heard a female talk as dirty as she did, and it was just so fly to me. Like, when she came out, she was like, I used to be scared of the dick. Now I don't listen to shit. Handle it like a real bitch.
Heather Hunter, Janet Jack me, take it in the bud. Yes, wood.
Girl. And I had to get a lesson on who Heather Hunter and Janet Jack me was. Like, what? Like a whole world opened up. Like this. This was a whole world opened up. So it was like, the cross section between porn and black black womenist, and just asserting her femininity, and then it was dirty and it was raunchy, and she had lyrics for days, and I was just you remember the album cover, and she's squat open with the and
I think up until that point, a lot of, especially black women, we didn't really outwardly talk about giving head to men. It was always something that, if someone says she sucked dick, it's always looked down upon it. Whereas white girls been doing that shit since middle school.
No, they invented that shit. So and remember, like, this was around a time in music where we were kind of doing a roots and culture kind of thing. Like it was. In my opinion, it was very, the natural and the kooky hats, and So nothing wrong with that, and that it was a great time. But you didn't see women asserting their sexuality in this way that was, to me, very powerful. So it's like she took whatever, I mean, and she's the first one I saw. She had panties on, like she would perform in panties.
Yeah, yeah.
In her underwear.
That iconic poster she had was on every male's dorm. It was on their wall.
I'm trying to think, what was that, the Source magazine, or what magazine it was, where it was like a 2-page and you had to fold it out, and I'm like, that was Lil Kim. So people can say what they want. There's a new Kim out. I think that's a clone. I don't even think that's really her anymore. But this was the Kim that resonated
I still
with
love
me.
Kim. I
always have a love and respect for her, because
she has morphed into something almost unrecognizable. However, I still love the essence of Kim. I love her. I will always love her.
Oh yeah, I mean, I just love Bahamas in the spring. Baby, it's a big month. They can't tell by the diamonds in my ring.
That's how many times I want to come. 21 and another one. The importance of coming. Go ahead, Kim. I got
just the symbolism, and it was just like, don't be afraid of that. And you're right, like that. I never heard about women talking about coming, and it's plenty women after that, and we wouldn't have a Nicki Minaj if there wasn't a Lil Kim, and I hate that she does not, pay the right respects.
Yeah, it's almost the things that she does is almost just like, it's not even almost, it is a spit in Kim's face. And I think that's a huge reason why I just really can't rock with Nicki, because she blatantly bites off of Kim and doesn't pay homage to her
at all. And that's, and I'm like, well, maybe because she's young, but I'm like, Nicki is like 35, 36 years old. So,
yeah,
she definitely was around in the era with Kim, when Kim was ruling it, and nobody. I was trying to rack my brains on, like, who did it like Kim did, Lil Kim. I can't think of anybody.
Yeah, and Foxy was out at that time, and I like Foxy.
And I like Foxy too.
Yeah, and I really kind of want. I listened to a few years back. She did an interview with Comeback Jack. Rest in peace to Comeback Jack. And I really want her to come back out and, like, her and Kim do like a tour or something, like perform together, because they were really iconic for the 90s for women.
So that is the reminisce, and play with my bushy. Tell me what's on your mind when your tongue's in the pussy.
Is it marriage?
Oh, it is.
Baby carriage?
A lot of that. So big ups to Lil Kim. Yeah, I have such a love for her, and she defined a time for me. Like, that was 1996 was such a time for me. The college years were a time of really defining who you are. So when this song came out, everybody was playing it, and I was, banging it in my little Acura Integra.
Girl, that was just, I know we could just keep talking about the 90s hip hop, but that was just such a good time for hip hop. The mid 90s. Really, God, there was so much good music out. So much good music.
It really was. So big ups to Lil Kim.
The golden era. Big up, Kim.
Yeah. So what else do we have?
Yeah, we're at the end. I guess
the end. Okay, so we're
real quick. I just sparked something in my mind. So now New Edition is now they're going on tour. However, Johnny Gill and Ralph are not a part of it.
So they should stay home then. Don't
Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike.
They should stay home. I heard they fired Ralph. What kind of shit is that?
Well, why? Did they say why?
I didn't hear why. I don't understand why. But I'm like, there's no tour unless they go out as BBD.
How you fire the lead singer and don't replace him? Who's gonna sing?
Who's gonna sing? Right. And now that I think about it, right.
But if you really think about it, honestly, they really could do it. Because it's BBD, and then there's Bobby Brown, who if he can withstand the whole tour, they both have solid bodies of work that they could perform on.
Yeah, I don't know. Ralph, to me, I mean, you have New Edition, but he's got to be a part of it.
Yeah.
I could take a leave Johnny Gill, but Ralph,
Yeah. So I think, instead of trying to rebrand them as Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike, I think it should just be BBD and Bobby Brown. Because
Oh, so you're for okay, you're for them going out and
I actually went to see them. They did this, girl. It was part of my Grown and Sexy tour that I had going on. It was the all in Grown and Sexy shit. So I saw
Mhm.
them. I actually didn't see Bobby Brown, but I saw BBD, and they still
Yeah.
getting it.
They still got yeah, I've seen them. I've
They
seen them
still
perform
getting it.
and it's worth a show. I just I don't want to hear New Edition without Ralph.
Yeah, that part, and that's why I say they should just go out on tour as BBD and Bobby Brown, and not as New Edition. That's what I'm
Okay.
saying.
All right, I get it.
Yeah,
Okay. So I like how you inserted that right at the end, but that's good.
I just thought
That's
about
why
it.
we're here. That's why we're here. All right. So I think we can end on that note. It was a good show. What do you think?
Yeah, it was a
All
great
right.
show.
So
Hmm.
let's pay the bills here. So you can subscribe to That's What I'm Saying, the podcast in the Apple Podcast app or Google Play, SoundCloud, Spreaker, and Stitcher, as well as iHeartRadio. Please share and recommend us and leave us your reviews. You can also visit us at That's What I'm Saying podcast.com to learn more. You can also send us questions there. You can shout us out on Twitter. Our Twitter is That's What I Say 3. And of course, we also always shout out our super producer, Vegas World Inc.
Yep.
And you can find him. Where can you find him?
On Twitter.
On the Twitter.
He's on Instagram too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Vegas
Listen
World
to
Inc.
me.
on Instagram and
He
Twitter.
on, he on Instagram. He on the gram. Okay.
He on the gram too.
Okay.
Shout out
Um,
Vegas.
and what we promise is that at the end of every show, we want to big up a Black owned business. Each one we're going to support, we're going to show our support. So the first one that we're going to do, it is the True Products Company. It is the first major Black owned eco-friendly laundry detergent company. It is owned by three Black brothers, and it's an Atlanta based company. And we use some of their products, right? I use the cleaner.
Yeah.
What do you use?
I use their laundry detergent. I've been using them for a couple years now. I found them on Facebook. I think someone had maybe did a post on Black businesses, and that one was a part of their write up. And so just I wanted to support, so I ordered like a bottle of it. But I'm a repeat customer. I buy it for my family members. I love it. It smells great. It cleans. And I always want to support Black businesses, and this is one I can definitely support.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, and their website is www.thetrueproducts.com. That's TRUEPRODUCTS.com. So that's it. We are at episode 9. I'm just so proud of us. We have, damn, we consistent as a motherfucker.
Yeah, we are. And I'm telling you, if it's not me pulling Shaun, Shaun is pulling me, but we are consistent as shit. This has been week 9, this episode. Now we have not missed a week.
Hey, we doing it. So, all right. Well, till next week, we will catch y'all all then.
All right.
Have a safe one and be blessed.
Be blessed. Good night.
Yeah.
Drop it on the random.